Well, howdy. We're in my kitchen garden, and today we're going to focus on this tomato plant here. Everything in here is deep water culture. We have a early girl determinate tomato plant. There is an indeterminate version too. We have a bush cucumber here and a small pepper plant and a bunch of butter crunch lettuce, and really I want to focus on this plant. I just put the leaves through the trellis, so they do look a little bit floppy and wilted, but it will come back. The plant is doing well. I think you can see we have a bunch of flowers up here, and eventually we'll be seeing flowers on these lower limbs. And I don't know if I can get in here. Now that I put it in a trellis, you can kind of see the roots here. They're really healthy and light, and I've noticed a lot of people get determinate tomatoes and they want to prune them, and you're not supposed to prune determinate tomatoes. The difference is determinate tomato, it grows to a certain size and then it fruits and then it dies, but an indeterminate tomato can actually last for 2 or 3 years if you keep everything healthy, and it doesn't yield all at once. Indeterminate tomatoes, they get much taller and they're more vine-like. This is definitely a bush, and I spread it out because I want to make sure whatever fruit it has is supported. I kind of wished I'd have used a trellis net with larger squares, but this is what was over it. So you don't prune these plants, just let them grow. Anything you take off is going to reduce your yield. Now with indeterminate tomatoes, you definitely do prune off suckers and all that good stuff, and you might remove some flowers or pinch tops, but not on a determinate variety. So the next time I grow, I will probably do an indeterminate one. Now they do get a lot taller, but that actually in a way makes them easier to train than a determinate one, because you can tie the branches up and expose the fruit to light and all that good stuff. But in this grow, it's basically a situation where I'm in an upstairs apartment without air conditioning. It's gonna get hot, and during the summer I'll be growing tomatoes outdoors instead of indoors. So this plant will flower, fruit, and be removed. It wouldn't last more than 6 months anyway, but I will not be growing tomatoes indoors once we get into May or June. Certainly not by July. So this plant will be gone. But for now, the advantage of a determinate tomato is it yields most of its crop at the same time. It also yields faster, so that's perfect for me. I want tomatoes for salad and all that, and I will harvest this one, and I won't plant another tomato plant probably till fall. Right now we're in March, beginning of March, first quarter of March, and I probably won't plant anything back in here again till October. This plant was started from a small transplant about 3 or 4 inches tall, and right now it's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks from when I set it in, probably 4. and I expect in another month I should have tomatoes. Anyway, we'll see. But I wanted to show you the plant, and there is a before picture, and you can notice it was very, very bush-like, and that's how you can tell determinate tomato from indeterminate. If you have a plant that grows like a bush, it's a determinate tomato, and you don't prune it. If you have a plant that's viney, grows a lot of long stems, and has a lot of suckers coming out of it, it's indeterminate. In that case, you would want to remove a lot of the suckers, and you would want to stake those branches up. The next time I grow in here, like I said, it will be fall. I will probably choose an indeterminate variety, but for now, I'm going to grow this. Also, I'm in Western Washington, and we don't have the best growing season in the world for tomatoes. It's long, but there's not a lot of heat in it, and tomatoes really require heat. And so this type of a plant is really good for that kind of a garden, because you don't have a long enough growing season to take full advantage of an indeterminate variety. So anyway, that's some thoughts on growing determinate tomato varieties in hydroponics. As I said, this is deep water culture. It's just a 5-gallon bucket with an air stone in it, and a transplant that is set into a pot of hydroton or grow stones is what I'm using. I don't think you can get them anymore, but hydroton works fine, and there's really not very much to it. It is going to be a problem trellising it like this to get in and refill it, but I have a pump that I can use. I can drop the pump in and pump all the water out of the bucket into a spare bucket, and then I can feed that to my regular house plants, and then I can refill the bucket with fresh nutrients and pump those back in. And it's not real complicated, you know, but once these plants get to a certain size, it's going to get kind of hard to lift the lid. So anyhow, that's my little spiel on determinate tomatoes indoors in hydro. No dirt, and you get faster growth and a higher yield. If you're indoors, by all means, DWC works great for tomatoes. If you're growing outdoors, you'll probably be in soil, or you can grow in pots and use cocoa, and you'll still get better results than growing in soil. So anyway, happy gardening, and keep it green. All right, bye-bye.